Hey, thanks for joining us on Cha with Laura and Leah. Cha is a podcast and video series of us just having tea with our friends. Cha, as you probably know, means tea in many languages, including our language of Korean. We are two diasporic Koreans that are inspired by that quote that I think many of us have heard by Nina Simone, which paraphrased is that the role of the artist is to reflect the times. And so we are inviting our friends over for tea to talk about our values, our art, our creativity, our dreams for the world that we are all envisioning and imagining and co-creating. And, Cha is our offering to the collective to invite you in and to hopefully serve as inspiration for you to then go on and hold your own in-person conversations. Virtual is beautiful. We are here right now virtually, and this is a gift. And also, there is a particular magic that is generated when we are literally sharing space and air and tea together. So, brew a pot for yourself, join in, and we're so grateful to be connected to you.
Hello to the beautiful community of Cha with Laura and Leah. I am your co-host, Laura Chung. And with all full transparency, Leah and I have contributed our own funds to season 1 and season 2. We've paid for the production and all of the editors ourselves. And now we are moving into the next phase of filming season 3, and we are starting to fundraise for that. In lieu of sponsorships, where we would have to read out ads during our podcast and video series, we wanted to reach out to our community first to support us so that you are part of the co-creation process. We are raising $1,000 to cover the cost of the studio in Los Angeles and all of our editors who help us make this possible. Thank you so much for your support, and we appreciate everything. Everything is linked down below for you to learn more. Bye.
Welcome to Cha.
Thank you.
I love that you have stars in your teeth.
Oh yeah, I love stars. And there's like a bunny, like Playboy bunny.
Oh, that's so cute. Is it daily?
No, it's like glued on, like secured.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like accessorize everywhere you can, basically.
Yeah, I like a little bling bling, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to we were talking as a family. I have a 10-year-old who's gotten really into his sneakers.
Okay.
Like he came. I picked him up from school the other day, and he was walking like with a limp. I'm like, "Did you get hurt?" And he was like, "I just don't want to crease my sneakers. I don't want to crease my Jordans."
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Okay, but you look weird. Don't walk like that." And he came home, and his dad's also really into fashion.
Yeah.
And he's teaching him how to keep the sneakers clean, and it's just like this thing, and it's really cool to see. Like he's coming into his sense of like how he really wants to be perceived, and these little details that matter.
Yeah.
And my husband's always been really into fashion, and as a mom, you sort of like that's one of the last things in my like that I'm thinking of. I'm just trying to like keep people fed and alive, and he was like, "You used to care too, and it's really nice." And I was like, "That's true." And he's like, "It's because like when you put effort into like enjoying the way that you look, or like picking things that you like and being able to walk through the world like that, like it makes you feel better."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Because it's another level of care.
Yes, it
Definitely.
is care.
Self-care,
yes,
for sure.
It's saying like we were talking about this earlier before you got here, but it's the saying like I am worthy.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
I feel that. And I also feel like you're saying like maybe as a mom that kind of took a back seat because
Totally.
your priority is someone else's care, versus your own self-care in a way.
Yes.
And I feel like I've kind of started to learn that a bit as well as I started to take care of my mom as she's becoming older. And when I go see her, I'm like, bitch, like, I don't, my hair, like, I like, wear your glasses, don't do your hair, like, just wear whatever you find. Like, that's not that important. But sometimes I'm still like, it's like good to show up the way that I want to be seen or what makes me feel good, because when I see her, I still want to put on a really good face for her,
Yes.
let her see who I am and let her see that I'm taking care of myself. I want her to see me for me as well, and not just have to adjust myself based on like what I think maybe a demure, not demure, like what a caretaker might look,
Right.
To be very like kind of, what's the word?
Well, you don't
just
have
plain or something.
Like, you don't have to like play a role of like, okay, this is like what is expected, so I
Yeah.
have to play into that. It's like, well, actually, no, I can do the thing and still be myself.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite revolutionary.
Yeah, I agree. I think kind of reshaping the perspective for yourself or for other people, what it looks like to show up as your full self, as a caretaker or as whatever role you're in, I think is really important. For me, even as like a sex worker, when I would meet clients doing escorting, I think when I first started it, I thought I had to kind of assume this role of like this fantasy of what they wanted out of me. But the more I did it, I realized I just kind of want to show up as myself and like kind of push the envelope a little bit more of like, this is who I am. You're hiring me for me because there's no one like me, honestly. And the more I did it, I realized, like I stopped using an alias. I started going by my real name because I realized that made the work easier as well.
Right.
Being like, I don't have to remember like all these details of what kind of fantasy you want out of me because you're meeting different people. I can't remember everything.
Right.
But just showing up as me, it just became...
And I'm your fantasy.
Yeah, like your fantasy is me, babes. Like you don't even know it yet, but I'm you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you brought up the sex worker,
Yeah.
like right away,
Yeah. It's just,
I'm so curious about this because we met you at our friend's birthday party and we didn't really talk that much, right? We didn't get to
Yeah.
because
The layout of the table was hard. I remember I was like, I'm really sorry.
yeah,
Yes.
our
My
backs
back-
are kind of turned. We're like next to each other, but our
Like
backs
this
are
close,
turned.
but our
but
backs
there was
are
also
turned.
no like context for how
Who's who,
Kim
right.
like met everyone,
Right,
and
right.
it was just like kind of fragmented.
Yeah.
But then our mutual friend Jeannie, who's also Korean, connected us and said you should invite them to your podcast. And we're like, wait, we just met
We
them.
just met them,
Yeah.
So, how did you get into this? And like, because being Korean, also of the diaspora, it's a very taboo subject. Like these
Totally.
are things you don't talk about. You don't talk about your sexuality, your gender fluidity, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I guess specifically with doing sex work, I started when I was 21. That's when I first started escorting, doing full service sex work. I was young and horny and, like broke. So I thought might as well make money having sex if I'm going to have sex anyway.
And is this through like an app or a service?
An online website where I just put an ad up, put my photos, put a description, put a number, hit me up. And I just took it from there. And I think there was a part of me that I was always kind of interested to use my social skills and also maybe my skills sexually, intimately, to kind of just like navigate the world, provide for myself. There was just something about that work that seemed kind of appealing to me, just... That's okay. I think the aspect of like all I needed was myself, I don't need any prerequisites. It's all based on what I've learned in this world to kind of make a living to get by. I thought something about that was very attractive to me. But it was also very daunting because there's no rule book. There's no guide of like, when you meet someone, how do you negotiate
There's no
your
like
rate?
training, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no
the
course or
small talk
handbook.
before you.
Yeah. It was very clunky at first,
Yeah.
for sure. I was definitely like trying to be on my best behavior, like trying to figure out like what people want out of me. I was also 21, like dealing with older like men like twice, 3 times my age. So I'm like,
And then were you sexually active by then?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think there's a part of me that there was definitely a thrill that came out of it as well, having sex with older men and also being desired by them, feeling maybe kind of valued or like important in that way. I started at that point, and I think I definitely had a lot of self-stigma that I kept it very private from my friends for a long time because I didn't want people to think lowly of me, kind of shame me for what I was doing. Definitely was afraid of my parents finding out.
Yeah, who was the first person that you shared it with?
I think I had 3 really close girlfriends in college. I started my junior year of college, and I think as I started to do it more and more, it was kind of inevitable that they kind of just knew and picked
Right.
up on it, and they had
Like, where's Sammy?
and they had no problems about it. If anything, they were, they just wanted to make sure that I was safe, but they also kind of curious and wanted to know
Yeah.
updates, like what is it like,
Yeah.
But after I graduated college and I moved to the city, that's when I really started to do it more. And when I started to make more friends in the city, I realized it's actually quite normal. Actually,
Yeah.
a lot of my friends
Yeah.
do this in different capacity, whether it's doing full service sex work, whether it's just selling feet pics, whether it's just going on a date for a meal or something. There's different levels to it. That's everybody does in some way. So I think I really started to chip away my stigma that I had against myself, and being more open with friends around me, and realizing people don't really have a problem with it. At least the people that are in my circle.
Yeah. Well, it's the oldest profession.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. I mean, it's a modality of healing work. I think it's a modality that's been really abused in a way as well, or devalued, the people that are, giving that work these days, because it is so tied to capitalism. It's such a transactional thing. But there's a lot of value in it as a healing modality, for sure, as care work.
Because I watched one of your videos in the Korean
American Story. Yeah.
And you say that this is a form of healing and care.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about that? Because I think a lot of people disassociate sex and healing.
Which is crazy to me. But I think that's actually kind of the pivotal point of why I think sex work can be healing work. Because I think everyone that I've ever talked to about their relationship to their sexuality, everyone has some level of dissatisfaction or trauma, or boundaries or limitations that they want to kind of work past. There's like, I'm curious about this, but I don't know if I'm allowed to, or if I can, or the opportunity would present itself. And for me, I've always been someone that's very sexually forward, and wanting to explore my sexuality. That's a big way that I navigate this world and connect with people and get to learn about myself and get to grow. And I think a lot of what I do is to provide spaces for other people to connect with their own body, with their own pleasure. Whether it's, doing that one-on-one in sex work, or that's, doing porn and kind of giving this representation of what sex can look like in different ways. What was the question again?
It's care work, how it's like, in what ways it care work. And I mean, it's like the most intimate experience, really, that you, like, anything with your body is like intimate. And for us to be told that certain things are okay or not okay, or that you have to, we were talking about this earlier, like you have to choose what box you check, and then you have to stay in that box. And how we are forced to do that from a really young age, and told what certain things are more acceptable than not. And then you feel like, oh, what if I'm interested in or curious about something else? Like, you feel like you can't go there. If you've already identified and put yourself in that box. And all of that is really denying of one's worth and like full humanity, really, ultimately.
Absolutely. I think we live in a culture that doesn't allow us to really explore that side, that just really shames it, and doesn't have enough space for us to feel vulnerable and safe to explore these things. With very cis-het, patriarchal society that we live in, there's a lot of ways that we feel powerless, that we don't feel like we can be autonomous of our own pleasure. I think pleasure is something that has been such a long journey for me to even uncover for myself. But I think as I've kind of had the journey of navigating and learning about that through sex work, I've realized that's a big thing that I want to share with the world. Like, I first started doing full service sex work, and then I eventually moved to doing porn publicly in 2020, because I kind of thought that I really believed in the healing work of doing full service sex work, and that
What does that mean, full service sex work?
it's synonymous to escorting. It's just kind of a full service, meaning, it's a full service. Like, basically, it's just full.
Like you
exactly.
If you want to have sex, you go on a website and then
you see my ad.
You see, okay.
And my ad is just descriptions of me, what I'm providing. Just my
and then someone like hires you, and then you meet in a location. That's the whole full service.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when I meet them, typical meeting will be, just like a hookup maybe. You just meet, you break the ice, have some chats, get to know one another, and then the chemistry kind of naturally unfold. Or if they're feeling maybe a bit shy, I'll just initiate, kind of be a little forward. And I'm like, I know what I'm here for, so I know you're going to be into it. Obviously, reading the room of consent.
What if you're not sexually attracted to them? What if they're like ugly?
Oh my God.
Like, get it out. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course, babe. I mean...
because it is work. Because you have to work on it.
Yeah.
Even though like you're not like into it.
Yeah. One thing that I developed is that with every person that I meet, I think I've always been able to find just at least one thing that I could really admire and appreciate about them. So there's always like one silver lining.
That is care work.
That is really care work.
It is, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I think it taught me so much about humanity, and that even if this is a person that in any other circumstance, I would not have been in this situation with. I would never have talked to this person maybe, because we're from different worlds. There's not a lot of overlying interests. But in this situation, we're brought together. I think there's something that I can take away. And there's always at least maybe a personality trait. They're really... obsessed with this one thing, and I really admire how deeply, in love they are about this one thing. Or maybe they have a really beautiful smile, or something like that. Or I really, even if physically I'm not attracted to them, I really appreciate the way that they hold me, or give me the space to kind of do my thing and like not being so aggressive, but like, giving me the space to initiate, something like that. So even if in the whole package I'm not attracted to this person, I think I've learned to really hold space and seeing that this is a full person that deserves their own pleasure, that deserves to be given what they want. Because the reason why they're hiring me is that they're not able to get what they want anywhere else. They could
it's
have
really
a hookup.
Vulnerable to hire you to begin with, right?
Yes, exactly. And I realized, people think that sex workers are just kind of these, sexy playthings for people to hire, and that we're in a broken, place and are taken advantage of. And that is a real narrative. But majority of the times that I meet clients, they're just people that want care. They're just lonely. They just want to feel important, because maybe they are the boss in their work life, but they just want to be held as well. They want someone else to make them feel cared for. So I realized that was a position that I was in. And I see them as a human being like anyone else that just wants that. And I think that's what allowed me to kind of push past even if they're not the kind of person I'm attracted to, I'm still attracted to energy. I'm still attracted to care. And being able to have this reciprocity of care, I think is attractive to me.
Yeah. But then how do you not catch feelings for each other? Or they
most clients are not my type, so I don't catch feelings.
Not you maybe, but because you're a professional, but the other person.
I think most times they understand it's an arrangement, that it's the specific
somebody who's caring for me and making me orgasm. Like I mean, I love you. You know what I mean?
I have had a client before be like, I love you, and for me, I'll have to back off a little bit. I'll have to be like, I hope you understand that
you just decline any future work with them.
I need them to understand
boundary.
That there's a boundary there.
How do you also keep yourself personally safe? Are your boundaries always respected?
Majority of the times, yes. I think that's also because I've gotten better at being selective with who I meet. Having a little bit more of a vetting process of just having in-depth conversation beforehand, of just at least having them be respectful and forthcoming about this is what I want out of our time together, so we both understand the expectations, the boundaries around what's going on. If someone is just kind of hitting me up because they just want I don't know, just a hookup or something, I'm not really interested in that, because I'm interested in people that kind of get that they're respecting my time, that it's really valuable. So yeah, just kind of being more selective, letting friends know if I'm like going to see a client, so I'm not just like, people don't know where I am.
Right.
But honestly, I haven't had too much trouble. The more that I've done it, the better I've gotten.
Because there's a vetting process through the company, right? Like,
No, there's no company. It's just all
online.
myself.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Wow. I thought there was like a website.
The
like
website, they just, you pay to put your ad up, and that's it.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Wow. So then you were saying you were doing that and then you went into porn. So what was the reasoning behind that? Because now you're having it out in the open.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of pivoted to porn in a way to protect myself, because doing full service sex work was work that I really believed in and valued, in terms of like care work, in terms of like creating a space for people to be vulnerable and center their own pleasure. But in doing that work, I realized, after doing it for so many years, kind of sex work was the majority of sex that I was having. And then by doing that, I wasn't even able to center my own pleasure anymore. So then having this relationship to sex in my own body, where I'm not even understanding or getting to center my own pleasure, was really damaging for me. So I took a real pause during lockdown, the pandemic in 2020, and I really had to reassess like my relationship to myself and how I valued myself as a sexual being. Who am I without sex? I think that was a big thing that I was kind of navigating during lockdown. That's when I decided to stop doing escorting, and I didn't want to stop doing sex work though, because it was such a big part of my life for so many years in my early 20s. And OnlyFans was really starting to take off, so I really started to consider it. And after half a year of really considering it, I started, because I thought that doing OnlyFans, I can choose who I have sex with, because through escorting, it's more like they're choosing me, and I don't really know them. I don't know what they look like. But through OnlyFans, at least I get to pick who I do sex scenes with. I get to share with the world what my pleasure is. And part of me did want to do it because I feel like there is something I wanted to prove to the world a little bit. Being queer and Korean, I don't see people like me in porn. And I think I wanted to add to that representation that I never saw growing up, because it took a long time for me to even deconstruct and decolonialize my own desire. And I wanted to kind of impart that in the industry. So I joined because I wanted to create better. Not better. I wanted to create more representation that I didn't see.
And center your own pleasure, like you said. I love what you just said about decolonizing your own desire and pleasure. I feel like for Koreans, especially if you have immigrant parents, it's like frivolous to have desire.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't have time for that.
Right.
Definitely.
You have to work.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think my parents would really understand what I do. They don't know. Yeah.
Oh, they don't know?
Thank God, no, they don't. They're like
Are they
really
not?
out of touch with, they don't use the
Social
internet.
media.
No. They don't use, thank God. It's just worked out that way. Yeah.
What do
They
they
just
think
don't
you do?
use Instagram?
No,
What
they
do
don't.
think you do?
I told them I'm a video editor because I am. Because I edit my own porn, so it's not a lie, y'all. It's not a lie.
Selective truth.
Exactly. It's still a truth. They just don't know.
No, I mean, it's just wild
They
that
don't
they
know
don't,
the
they're not on
content.
Instagram.
Yeah. No, they don't have Facebook. They're just really out of touch with all
What
that.
about your like emos and comos and
That I'm definitely more worried about. Actually, I've kind of wild story. I more recently started doing escorting again, just kind of being very selective with clients that I see, and I've started to re-see an old client I used to see. And he was showing me stuff on his phone. He was showing me like photos, and he's like scrolling through. I'm like, we're like cuddling in bed, and I see a photo in an album, and he's like with like another person that is like another Asian person. I'm like, they look kind of familiar. I'm like, who's that you're in the photo with? And they tell me the person's name, and I'm like freaking out in my head. I'm like, this person looks so familiar. Who are they? Oh my God, why do I know them? And then it hits me like 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh my fucking God, that's my cousin that I grew up with. And I'm like, oh my God. Later on, I told him about that, and he told me that actually the first time that we met, he knew he kind of told my cousin because they're really close friends, and he showed my cousin my photo, and my cousin was like, "Oh, that's my cousin," and I was like, "Oh my god!" So my cousin knew this entire time.
Have you had a conversation with them about it?
No, but I'm assuming didn't. My cousin and I never talked about it. I haven't heard anything from the rest of my family.
Right.
So I'm like, thank God. I hope that he really had kept it hush. And I actually got mad at my client because I was like, I wish he had told me that, because, you know, my parents finding
from before.
Yeah, that kind of like put me in a weird position, and I felt like maybe there was also this kind of weird power dynamic of him knowing and me not knowing, and that could have really ended up badly if my parents found out. That really would have been a different trajectory of how this all could have panned out. So I got quite freaked out. And I understood it wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything wrong necessarily. But I just wish there was a different level of care where like he was looking out for me a little bit, of telling my cousin, making sure like, oh, don't say anything. Maybe he did, because nothing kind of came out of it. That was the wildest thing that happened recently.
The world is so small.
Yeah, so small. But thankfully my parents haven't found out.
You're a video editor.
Yes, I'm a video editor.
Do you feel like you're hiding yourself then, or you're hiding your identity?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you said before, like one layer at a time.
Yeah.
But they accept you. They accept that you're queer.
They accept me as their child. So even if they still don't really accept my queerness and want me to marry a woman, have a traditional family like that, they understand that that's really not what I want, and they are like, at the end of the day, if we are still family, in the moments that we're together, we can still care for each other, and they see that I'm happy and that I'm good and secure in my life. I think that's really all they can ask for. I think the things that we ask of each other have become way more scaled down as my parents have gotten older. My mom has had Parkinson's disease since I was 4 years old. She's 70 now. She was diagnosed when she was 41 or 2, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's really young, isn't it? Or does Parkinson's typically hit young?
No, you're right.
No,
it actually more typically hits males.
Right.
And they're like 50s, 60s. So for her to get it in her 40s was quite unusual.
Tough,
and my dad is also disabled at this point. He's 68. My mom's 70. And the more that, I've had to kind of assume a caretaker role for them, and our roles kind of flipping.
We were just talking about that.
I think we're just happy to be together. We're just happy for the moments that we, it's getting harder to see each other. It's getting harder to do things. So I think just the time spent together is really precious. So the things that we used to bicker about are just so small. To me, it's not important that they know who I am fully as a sex worker, as a sexual liberator,
and that's also like you caring for them and knowing the weight of it, how it would be for them. And our immigrant parents, especially Korean parents, they don't have the tools to process. They haven't there's probably so much within them, their own selves and their own identity, that they have not been able to be liberated about. So I can see that your choice to share certain parts of yourself actually comes from compassion for them. And you learn this as you get older, right? Like, if you validate yourself, that is so much. And then other people's invalidation or not even recognizing you doesn't mean as much, because you accept you. And that's the most powerful validation that we need, right?
I always tell my sister, even though Korean people can be toxic most of the time, I don't think I've ever felt that no matter what I did, they would abandon me. Even though my emos and komos and komobus or whatever, they don't really understand what I do, or they don't really get it. And not at any moment in my life would I feel like they would not help me out.
They still have your back.
It's unconditional.
Because your family, your blood.
It's almost like the blood thicker than water thing works in that way. It's totally. Even though you're weird or considered weird for them, they would never not be there for you. You know what I mean?
I personally have felt that with my family as well, and I know that it's not the same for all families, not all Korean families, but I've definitely felt that in that my mom has 7 sisters, and some of them are nearby in New York as well, and like I lived with my aunt and uncle growing up, my mom's sister. One of my mom's other sister lives nearby her in the Bronx, and they see each other all the time. And all I had to do was show up, and they would, you know, take care of me. Like I didn't even have to like do anything. And I think as I've gotten older, that really meant a lot because, you know, as I moved to the city and it's hard to make, you know, a living, to break out, to like, you know, get by, you know, I just remember all the times my aunt would give me a car ride somewhere. And, you know, like over the years, how meaningful that was, you know, as I'm getting older and realizing like, now I'm the one giving my friend car rides, and like how much of an act of love that nourishes me to do. And knowing how big of an act that is for them sometimes as well. And knowing that, yeah, like blood is thicker than water sometimes. Like they don't even know where I'm going. They don't know what I'm about to do, some hoe shit. But it means a lot that they are still gonna drop me off, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's really valuable. They don't know.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We were talking before about how you joined the Stop Asian Hate movement, quote unquote, but kind of reformed it into protect Asian lives.
Yeah.
And how do you get this like framework of care in everything you do? Like, what is that? Do you have a cancer placement?
Actually, Pisces.
Oh, you're a Pisces,
Pisces
right?
sun, yes. Pisces sun, Taurus rising and moon.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
I honestly think a big part of it is my mom. I think my mom is like such a baseline for me growing up. Like she is also such a softie. And like growing up, I was such a mama's boy, you know?
So cute.
And like, I know I was definitely her confidant as well. You know, as like an immigrant trying to like navigate, you know, being in this world, you know, and like having a husband that wasn't home a lot because he was, you know, an alcoholic and, addicted to drugs. And I just remember so many days of my mom locking herself in the closet just crying and like reading the Bible all day, just praying for things to get better. And I would just like, you know, anytime the door was open, I would just go in, just like lay in her lap and just like be there with her. And like she didn't even have to say much, but I just saw that she was really hurting and I just wanted to be there with her. So I think being really young, like I just kind of developed this like placement of like wanting to assuage her like pain, and just like sometimes I felt like I was the only person that was there to listen to her sometimes.
Is this your dad?
My mom, but yeah, my dad. Yes,
Yeah,
my
your
dad.
Did you talk to him like he's a foreign entity?
Oh no, he was like in the picture for sure. But growing up, maybe I was definitely closer to my mom because she was more at home and my dad was at work a lot more. Yeah, I think, and then. So I think my mom and I are really similar in that way, and that we have always been like very each other's emotional confidant a lot. I remember when I was really young as well, in 5th grade, I just was really sad and depressed, and it was the first time I had uttered the words that I wanted to like self-harm, and she was really concerned for me, and I just remember her like being with me in like my bed and just like asking me if I'm okay and like trying to understand like why I was feeling that way. So I think just from a very early age, I just felt very safe with her. And then as I got older and I started to have to take care of her more because her Parkinson's made it harder for her to live. I think I had a lot of compassion and empathy to learn how to like meet someone with where they're at and kind of have to put down aside like what I want to do and kind of put her needs before mine, and just have a baseline of gratitude as well. I think I felt really angry that I felt like it was really unfair that my mom was diagnosed with this. I felt like it was really unfair that I had to move in with my aunt and uncle.
That's why, because she couldn't take care of you.
Yeah,
I see, yeah.
I felt like things were really unfair, and I was like, why me? But I still had a sense of gratitude that I'm like, but on the flip side, it's great that I still have a mom in my life because a lot of friends don't. I'm really grateful that I actually have 2 new guardians in my life to take care of me. That's a blessing, no matter how hard it was to live with them. So I think always trying to like, anytime things got hard, just reminding myself to feel grateful.
Where did that wisdom
Pisces.
come from? Oh.
Maybe, honestly.
I was going to say God? Was it church?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because like people who are ruled by Jupiter, like it is an optimistic. There's like an optimism even within the suffering. You know.
I think that's really true for me. I think I've been such an optimist.
Yeah.
I've battled with depression and self-harm like throughout my adolescence, but now where I am, I haven't been near those thoughts in a long time, and I think that optimism really got me through those like really hard early years.
My son is in 5th grade right now, and you're saying that you first started feeling that in 5th grade. And I was sharing with you some of his classmates are like on diets and
Oh my God.
the self-criticism and search for worthiness.
Yeah.
It's like you become aware of it really young
Yeah.
because he's 10. These kids are 10, 11, which feels so young, but that's also like when I started dieting, right? Like
Oh my
I was
God.
10.
Yeah.
And it's just like when I think of my own story, I'm like, oh yeah, I was 10. And now looking at it as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I was 10, you know?
Yeah.
And the loss of innocence and just this like need to like be, I mean, when you're little, you can't really validate yourself. It's not enough. You need it from the people who love you, like your parents. But the need to be assured that you're worthy, you know, that you are loved. It's so deep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's so deep.
We're
and
so vulnerable when we're little. Yeah.
I mean, we're just vulnerable, period.
Yeah. Was it also because you were grappling with your sexuality and your identity?
Definitely. It is kind of hard to remember exactly why at that age. It's like sometimes like, damn, I was so young. Like, why was I already
but I see
thinking
it.
Having an
this?
existential crisis.
Yeah.
Because you're actually, kids are so smart. Like you're born
Yeah.
really aware. You're born psychic. Like you're born intuitive.
Yeah.
You know, at the
Yeah.
very least. And like, what do you do with that when
Yeah.
your maturity is not there yet? And I think around 10 is when a lot of it's colliding. Like you know
Yeah.
a lot, but you're still a kid.
Yeah.
And like if you're not supported by your parents, your teachers, or other adults,
Or society.
or society at
Yeah.
large, which like our society doesn't value children and certainly not children of color. So any sort of like self-hatred or self-rejection or just wondering about your own self-worth, it's like duh, because you're getting the message from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it like makes total sense that we feel this way.
Yeah.
And many of us, I think, you just grow older and you just kind of like you survive. You like, you know, like you doggy paddle your way through, and if you don't fully investigate, that's why we end up with
Man child.
all
like,
these wounded human adults.
Sorry, I didn't mean to gender it, but like
Leads congenital.
Certain things. But yeah, literally, it's this.
Yeah.
And I think.
Yeah.
So as a parent, I think, okay, if I'm aware of all these things and I have these two souls who have trusted me with like their care, like what can I do? I mean, everyone's going to need therapy. I think that goes without saying, and they're going to need like healing support. But I think about like who we may have been, like how our psyches and souls may have been if we had, you know, more acceptance from society, more direct conversations about like who we are, what we prefer, and all these things. It's just like there's so much unmet potential.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
but like you've found so much of your essence, and this is beautiful, and you empower other people too as well.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Going back to like you asking like why, I think as you were talking, it came back to me kind of a reason why. I think it took me a long time to even realize because I was like, I don't know why I was so depressed at that age, because I was conscious but not really conscious. But now where I am, I'm having a lot more perspective and replaying and understanding what was going on around me in the context of things. And yes, it was partly my sexuality as a young kid. It was, you know, having immigrant parents, feeling, you know, isolated, disconnected from them. But I realized a big part of it that I didn't realize at that age was actually I was sexually abused as a kid, and I was molested for years as a child. And at the time, I didn't know that's what it was, you know. So I didn't know that's why. But at this point, I'm like, how could that not have been? Because I think that really set up the trajectory for the rest of my life and the way that I valued myself. A lot of times I I was sexualized very early on, and that gave me a relationship to sex that was just very early, that I didn't choose. But I think because of that, I just felt comfortable. Not comfortable. I just felt like accustomed to like sexuality. But because it was something that was placed onto me, I think I had this relationship where I was kind of someone else's sexual plaything. You know, I didn't, from the very beginning, I didn't explore my own sexual pleasure, you know.
And were you almost like out of your body too? Because like when you experience that trauma, you have to like leave your body. And so then if your soul is out of your body, then you can use your body as a sex thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, I can't remember exactly at that age how I felt, because to me at that age it was just something that happened. It's just something that like,
well, you didn't
I just thought it as playing.
Yeah.
I just thought of it as like, oh, we're just playing. So
Oh my God, wait, but like, did you tell your parents? And
no,
they were like, oh,
because I knew it was like
right.
a secret thing. I knew it was something like not to tell
So you
adults.
knew it was wrong.
Yeah,
inherently.
but I thought it was like things that kids do for fun. That's like, oh, don't tell your parents. It's like naughty, but it's fun. You know, I didn't realize that it was non-consensual abuse, though.
Because you don't have if you don't have the language,
absolutely not.
You don't know like what to make of it.
I don't have the concept.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You just know you're feeling.
But
You
your
just know how you
parents
feel.
didn't, or like you didn't learn in school yet, like the body parts and like sex or anything like that.
No, because this started when I was like maybe like 5 or so. Yeah.
So
and
you really didn't know. Like,
no, I didn't.
yeah.
I think you're right in that like there was maybe a dissociative aspect to it, because I never even thought that it was like sexual abuse. I never thought that I was like it didn't even dawn on me that this happened until lockdown. Till 2020, because that's when I stopped sex work, and that's when I really had to evaluate for myself, like, who am I as a sex, like, without sex? And then I had to think, like, when was the first time I had sex? And I really thought about it, and that's when I was like, oh my God, that was the first time. And I was like, wait, some people might say that's abuse. I was like, oh my God, this entire time, like,
So
that was
whole
blocked out.
time,
It was blocked out.
You didn't even like.
It was probably a way you're trying to heal that. You're trying to take back your power.
Yeah.
Like even from like your
No, but like when you
unconscious.
experience trauma like that, you block it. Like
Totally.
you have memory loss because
Yes.
it's too traumatic. That
You
like,
store it in
was-
like a different part of your brain.
It was crazy to me because I've always heard of that, and I was like, "Oh, that's so crazy. That's
Right,
so sad."
right,
I was like, "Me too." I was like, "What? Oh my God!"
That's why I'm scared. You know, 'cause,
You
like,
can never know. It could be you too.
no,
It's just locked in there.
No, literally, because like I have long-term memory loss because of
God.
all my trauma, and like sometimes I'm afraid of what else is hidden back there because I'm like so much of it came back for me too during lockdown.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time that I like wasn't working either, and I was just like sitting there, and I'm
Is
like,
it literally
"Shit."
because you had more space?
Yeah.
Like more
No, because like
headspace?
when you're not working or like hustling and you're just sitting there, that's why resting is actually traumatic for people.
Yes, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like then you remember things and you're like, oh no.
Make it stop. Make it stop. Yeah. I feel that. I will say though, like, yes, it's scary, but I realized that having that realization was really important, because even though it was really traumatic, I think it gave me a lot of answers for why I am the way I am. I've always had this feeling that I was broken, and that like I was always trying to prove myself, and I just thought like I don't really know why, but I think pinpointing to that first
It's
instance, the root, truly the root of everything for me, it made me realize that I'm not broken. That was something that happened to me. That was not something inherent to me. So I think really approaching that traumatic experience gave me a lot of answers.
Did you work with like a therapist to
no,
get through stuff?
I didn't.
You just
I just figured it out
figured
myself,
it out?
honestly.
Wow.
Having good friends and support systems that I think allowed me the space to talk about it. And
So then when you realized that, did you go to the person's house and with a pitchfork?
no, because it
always out for the revenge.
the thing is, it was someone that was like like close, kind of
It
family
always
kind of
is.
thing. Yeah,
It always is.
It has to be. It's
So I'm like,
right, yeah.
I don't feel comfortable approaching them
So they're
right
still
now, at least.
in your life.
Yeah. No,
They're still in your life.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're still connected to them.
Yeah. I think it would be really nice if we can have that. But at this point, I'm not rushing for that. I think maybe there might be a point in the future if we've really come a long way that we can talk about it. But I'm allowing it to have time. I don't think I have urgency to get a resolution from them. I think I've gotten enough resolution for myself.
Yeah.
But that would be a beautiful next step. But it's not something I need.
You need.
Yeah.
Wow. It seems to me, just knowing you for just very little, is you're not afraid to look at the ugly of life, the things that are scary. And I think that's what's so liberating about your work, is you aren't afraid to go at it and then share it with people.
Yeah, I think that's very important to me. I think that's why I don't need resolution for that person, because being able to share this story and hopefully have other people hear and it resonate with them and help them connect with themselves, that's way more important. That's way more valuable to me. A lot of what I do is my own storytelling because, I just hope that it helps other people connect with themselves.
Don't you also talk about now being the time astrologically for these like more shadow?
Well, that's the year of the snake.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What is that?
So I have she's a Batsa, or they are a Batsa astrologer. You know, Batsa is like a form of Chinese astrology. It's you have like 4 pillars. So you have like 4 animals. And the year of the snake is the year to talk about sex and money and topics that are more taboo.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think they're taboo, it's like something that is so inherent in our human condition.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that it is so like taboo.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, even money, I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this so taboo?
But the fact that you openly talk about being a sex worker and you are in porn, which is, I feel like, the ultimate form of just displaying, your liberation.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you? Because you could just keep this secret.
Totally. I think dispelling shame is very important to me, and I just want to practice what I preach. I think doing porn is one way to hold myself accountable sometimes, to be responsible. I think there is an issue in the industry of people, being really irresponsible, or I think that stems from, only looking out for yourself and having this very individualistic approach of like, just trying to get your bag and like, running through as many people as you can, the hottest people that you can get your hands on to make a living. And I get that's a real issue. It's a real motivation because we just need to get by. But I think, that being such a scarcity mindset, that can only get you so far. And for me, yes, doing this is a means to make a living, but, I have a greater mission that I want to achieve. There's a bigger shift and collective change that I want to see happen, that I want to be a part of. And so for me, I think, showing authentic representations of sex, showing representations of sex that are, like very like pleasure centered and very like based on connection and not just like what on screen looks very titillating or very like, some of the stuff that's very like clickbaity or gets the most views, or representations that are very, like abusive and very harmful and very rough and very, can be quite irresponsible in how we treat each other. And, there's a lot of peers in my industry that just treat each other very disposably. And I'm like, we should treat each other as peers because society already sees us as, disposable, but we shouldn't treat each other that way either. We should help each other out. So I want to conduct myself in a way that shows people that like that sex workers are humans too, that we have very full personalities and lives, and that we are, to me, like leaders in shaping our sex culture. And being a leader, like we have a responsibility to uphold, to show, just to like create representation of sex that's like positive, that's authentic.
Yeah, what do you say to people that say you're perpetuating the problem of porn addiction?
Honestly, I don't really get that question a lot. But I think with that, that's not my problem.
It's different because like you're not in like the heterosexual, because I feel like heterosexual porn is just so not realistic.
It's such a fantasy.
It's such a fantasy, and the moaning and the over dramatization I think sets up a unrealistic view of what heterosexual sex is or can be. And I think maybe I'm asking the wrong person for this question, but like I do think there is porn addiction for heterosexual men who watch it and expect the woman to just bend over. You know what I mean?
I will say gay men are still men, so regardless, that's really true. So like there's
it's across the board.
I mean, I was addicted to porn growing up myself even. That was a big issue for me. So I am definitely on the receiving end of that trap. But I think like that's partly why I joined, is because I'm like, well, one, porn addiction is a real issue, but I think porn is also a way we educate ourselves around sex. And so for me, I think I wanted to, have one say in how we, socialize ourselves sexually. And if people are watching porn, at least they can watch representations that are teaching them how to connect with their own pleasure, and not, giving them these preconceived notions of what pleasure should look like, or how you should be a sexual partner for someone else, rather than how should you ask someone to please you, So I'm like...
I feel like men have no problem with that part.
Like,
please me.
But that's also so, like... I don't know, so, like... They're not in touch with their own selves, you know? Because it's just, like, pre-written script of, like, how you think you need to be this, like, big alpha man. But, like, what about the bitches that just, like, aren't that, so I think I just wanted to add to that conversation of like, this is what, sexuality can look like if people are going to be watching this anyway.
I think it's because it's so taboo and not openly discussed is when you get into these like dark corners of the internet where people then have these like addictions. Because it's then in this box of being taboo, like drugs, right? If it was legal, it wouldn't be this like secret thing where people,
Right.
I think ultimately the issue is the lack of human connection, right? So if people feel like they need to turn to porn because they don't have actual connection in their real life, that is a real epidemic.
Beyond sex, beyond like physical.
Even just
generally,
like chat boxes, or like I was watching the movie Her the other day, and like that's such a quintessential theme of like the lack of human connection, even when we're surrounded by humans all the time, and having to turn to technology to fill that void.
Are you like, Gen Z? Gen
a
X?
Millennial.
Oh, you're a millennial too. I was going to
94.
say, Gen Z don't have sex.
That's what I've been hearing. Which I'm like...
No, I'm like, you don't want to have sexy time with your boyfriend? I'm like, what's going on here?
And that's a whole other conversation. I'm like, is that why my income's going down?
No, because genuinely, I think people's sense of the erotic, not just sex, but just like lust and passion for life has gone down because of depression and just like the internet and whatever. And so people just don't have that same like, I want to like squeeze life by the tits, by the balls, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like that translates to then not wanting to have sex.
You know,
the erotic is like what this primordial universe was created in.
Absolutely.
Well, also you're looking at like these younger generations are looking at climate catastrophe, genocide.
But that's when you
like
should
everything.
be having sex.
I
That's
know.
when we should be touching each
but I'm sure
other.
that's not making them horny and not wanting to procreate either.
Exactly. When you're like, wait, you shouldn't have kids because there won't be a habitable,
having kids
world.
and having sex is different.
I mean, but it's kind of related too, though. I think in like a deep animal instinct, there is that. Part of the story is that. But I made friends with somebody in Beirut. And she was sharing with me, they were like literally having bombs falling like crazy over the summer, right?
Oh my God,
And I'm sure it's continuing, but there was a period where it was really bad. And she shared with me, she was like, oh, my husband and I just had sex all night. Like it was the best sex of our entire lives. And she's like, and it was really...
apocalypse sex.
Yeah, it was literally that. She's like, there were bombs
but think
outside
about
her window.
grandparents.
Which is
True.
why maybe your
Our
mom has
grandparents
7 sisters.
Literally.
But also probably because they're like, we don't know if this one's gonna stay
Who's gonna
alive.
survive?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why in Gaza, I think a big part is like have as many kids as you can because you don't know who's gonna survive.
Yeah.
Which is like devastating.
Yeah.
You know, like
A real result of like bombing and war and
siege and occupation.
Yes, occupation.
And, yeah. Well, that's less fun to talk about than.
It's real. It's really
sex.
connected though. It's
But
But
really
it's so connected.
It's so connected.
But I mean, I guess what we're saying is all of our motivations and the conditions we want to fuck under are different.
Yeah.
Some people want to continue their bloodline, and other people just look at the climate crisis and like, what's the point? But
Right. Yeah.
so everyone's, everyone gets off in different ways.
Yeah.
No, but it is like just think about your state of mind and body when
Yeah.
you're like witnessing
I am trying
live
to think about
stream
that.
genocide.
Yeah.
But like you're just like what you're weeping in a puddle
Yeah.
in your shower, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like
Doesn't make you
finding any
horny.
joie de vivre is like
I don't know, but like
hard.
I've loved having sex after a really big fight, or
Right.
or having an orgasm to release.
This is true,
the tension.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know, that's
definitely.
in your body.
Yeah.
Definitely both. It's definitely
Yeah,
both.
it's
Yeah.
like multi-purpose.
Exactly. That's what I love about sex. Like,
This is why I love talking about it, and I think I was telling our mutual friend Kim that I feel like sexual liberation is tied to collective liberation. Remember, she's
Yes.
like, you should teach a class.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
Because
It's true.
it's like the more you can be liberated in talking about this topic, the more you are able to just show up as your authentic self,
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
hide parts of yourself.
something that I've been saying lately is like, people shame people for having a lot of sex, but I think that's so stupid because with anything you do, the more you do it, the better you get at it, right?
Yeah.
The more you understand yourself. So like the more that I've had sex, the more I've been able to understand who I am. Yes, as a sexual being, but like just understanding how I want to be treated, how I like to treat other people, like who I am as a caretaker, like my power in being able to like create a space for someone. That's like, travel in everything that I do, So I think like having less shame and having people just talk about sex, their relationship to sex, their own body is really important, and us just like being able to be open about our truth and being able to dive deeper into like how we are in totality.
Yeah.
Some people don't really maybe have the inclination to be a sexual being, and that's totally fine too, because everyone is different. But I think by kind of taking away that shame, that tabooness around sex, just allows us to have this like more open, free flowing dialogue where we're not like holding back from ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, have more sex.
I don't know why, but I feel like it's tied to some white supremacy, puritanical law, right?
Control, yeah.
Yeah, the shaming of like
Oppression.
being a hoe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They're trying to control us, but
Right?
yeah.
Because like, where did that even come from? I think I understand where it comes from in religion, but why is it part of U.S. American culture?
Well, there's definitely a through line for people of color to not procreate, and it is tied to procreation and like not wanting to tip the racial balance.
Oh, I see what you mean. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So there is like an element of that, and there's it's tied to medical racism too, and
Like eugenics.
Yes, eugenics, and like the birth of gynecology and obstetrics. It all came from like testing on
Yeah.
black bodies and the over sexualization or the assumption of
Yeah.
over sexualization of especially black men. And like there's like weird stuff tied into that. So I think in that process it makes sense that it became this taboo thing because they needed to control certain racial populations.
Very true.
So it's like dark.
I
Yeah.
mean, why am I surprised?
No, yeah.
I feel like that's on brand.
Yeah.
But like being Korean, do you find people have this stereotype of you?
At this point, no, because I'm so public about what I do. I think people see me as very Korean American, and I think I've definitely kind of carved my own space.
You've busted through all the stereotypes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
If anything, sometimes like when I'm in Korea or spaces around other Korean people, I definitely feel a little like awkward or like I'm like, am I gonna be received, well? But I do feel like our culture is shifting more and more. I mean, when I'm around people my age, at least, I don't ever receive any issues. If anything, people are just really intrigued. They think it's really cool, because they're like, I could never do that. But I'm like, bitch, yes, you could. Actually, maybe you can't do like me, but like, it's not that crazy, it's really not that crazy,
Yeah. I guess I meant like Korean and Asian anatomy being not as other. I don't know how to say this.
Wait, as what? Oh, like as like big?
Small dick energy.
Yeah.
Because there is that stereotype.
Yeah, and I will say, like across the board, it kind of is true. Like I'm not saying like all Asian men have big dicks or like all Black people have like big dicks, but yeah, like sure, like there is a
like do you find
data. There's
like a fetishization of
for sure
being an Asian.
Yeah, like definitely. Being Asian, I've definitely tried to dispel being pegged as like just a sub bottom for white men, for bigger men. I think a big mission of mine when I started in the porn industry was I didn't have sex with any white men. When I started
Reverse
OnlyFans. Exactly. Yes, I am a racist. Just kidding. Please don't take that bit. Oh my god. Please don't edit that as its own thing.
We always reverse racism on this podcast.
Period. But truly, yeah, like the first year and a half that I did it, I was like, I don't want to create any content with white people. I want to focus on creating content with other Asian people because there's such a lack of that in American porn. And shoot with other people of color as well. But I actually stopped that boundary because I realized just working with other people of color wasn't always... I didn't always feel respected, so I needed to kind of just choose people where I felt like they respected me.
Because you learn that like identity doesn't guarantee or absolve anything.
Exactly.
Right? Like we're humans at the end of the day, and you're like, oh, our own people can be quite racist or quite discriminating.
No, totally.
And all
I
those
still
things.
felt disposable by people I considered peers.
Yeah.
So I stopped that, and I, started working with white people
more on like an individual basis, like kind of trying
like
to
sussing
get to know the
out
person.
and like being like, oh, there's chemistry here. Like, why should I? The point for me is to navigate my own, like lead with my own pleasure. So if I feel like there's a good thing happening here, I shouldn't cut myself out of that because I have this thing that I want other people to uphold of me, right? So I definitely still. Maybe some. I think in the beginning I had more of a complex of like being pegged as this Asian stereotype, being a sub bottom, but now I don't really care because I think I've been in the industry enough. I have proved myself to be like quite versed in a lot. Like I'm switch. I like to top and bottom. I like to be sub or dom. But it really depends on the chemistry with the person. And to me, that's the most important thing to show is that like sex is on an individual one-on-one basis. And it's not the same with every single person I meet. It really is about the individual connection that you have with someone and the idiosyncrasies that come about. I think that's something that's really precious about sex is getting to learn something new about myself every time I have sex with someone different. That's something that I want people to really take away.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have a question that's more like tea.
Okay. Let's spill.
You're like,
let's get into it.
Okay. I mean, when you were an escort or even in your like everyday life, how often do you come across men who are straight?
Oh, I personally do not meet straight men.
Really?
I don't. That's just
because I feel like a lot of
issues.
cishet men are secretly gay.
Bi-curious.
For sure. I mean,
sexually curious.
Okay, I have had clients that have had wives, or like I had a client that I saw that actually meeting me was like one of the first times he actually started to explore his sexuality, and he was 60. He had
60.
He had 2 kids and an ex-wife already. So at this point, he was like finally starting to explore his sexuality a bit more. And actually, that was really beautiful because I was kind of like a guide for him, and I could see he was really starting to learn new parts of himself that really made him happy. So to me, that was really meaningful, actually.
60.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, generally, if a man is straight, to me, that's a red flag because just because I'm like, if you haven't done the work to kind of uncover sexuality in a way where maybe unpack that shit a little bit, I don't want to do that for you.
Right.
There's like a level of like, you have to come into the room having done some work on yourself already that for me to be willing to meet you.
Right.
Because if not, it's just a lot of labor that at this point I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
There's enough resources at this point for us to be
Right.
self-aware.
Right.
So
Yeah. So you already have that conversation right off the bat before you let them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, usually if someone messages me, usually when I message someone, they have to be forthcoming of what they want out of the interaction. So I'll ask them like, what are you looking for? What interests you? What turns you on? To give them a prompt to just tell me whatever they want. And if they say they're like more straight, it's a red flag, but I'll still kind of suss it out. I'll kind of just ask them more questions. And if they're not forthcoming, then I'm not really interested. I'm only interested in people that are going to
So
respect my
sometimes you
time.
say, sorry, this isn't going to work for me. And then you just cut the communication.
Basically, yeah.
And they leave you be like you.
Sometimes they message me, but I don't care.
You
I'm
just
like,
ignore.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right.
there's other people I want to focus my time on. Yeah.
So what turns you on? And it doesn't have to be in a sexual way.
Yeah, definitely energy, like completely. I think baseline of care turns me on the most. Yeah, the energy of feeling really safe with someone turns me on the most, I realize. I think that's taken me a long time to really find. I think I knew that, but being able to find partners that really were able to give that to me has been such a journey.
And what does that feel like and look like?
I think it's I think, you know, sometimes you meet someone and the encounter is like maybe a little clunky because like you can tell there's like you're not really sure how to navigate around each other. Maybe you're being too careful, or maybe you're like you're not sure what the person wants, so you're trying to be this thing because you're like, maybe they want this or maybe they want that, and you're trying to figure it out, and it feels a little awkward. I think that's like the opposite of what I want. I like it when it's like it feels really like natural in the ways that we're able to open up to one another and have that received and being able to give that to one another. Sometimes that is verbal communication. Be like, can I do this? Can I touch you here? Do you like being kissed here? Sometimes,
So like asking and consent.
yeah, definitely. And even if it's not verbal, you know, sometimes you can, it's just like physical cues as well, like a light touch rather than a grab, you know, or like a caress rather than, you know, I don't know, something more aggressive or something. I like when the approach from the beginning is like a little bit more like, you can tell they're comfortable in themselves, but just because they're comfortable in themselves doesn't mean that they're immediately comfortable to access you, right? They're like taking the time to let you feel comfortable with them, taking the time to get accustomed to how you enmesh into each other's bodies. I think that little dance is really attractive to me. Feeling like someone really respects me, because I can be sexualized very easily, you know, with the profession that I do. But when I find someone that really is interested in me, for me, beyond all that shit, that's really attractive to me. Getting to know me as a human being. A really nice smile is really attractive to me. Someone who really cares to make a positive change in their community is really attractive to me. And I'm saying these things because these are actually qualities of someone I recently met. And I'm like kind of like
You're
pinpointing
thinking of that person?
Yeah, like why I'm attracted to this person. Yes, romantically.
And is this person okay with what you do?
Yeah, and he didn't know when we met, so that was kind of nice. It was kind of nice that we just kind of got to know each other beyond like what we're known for. But then I kind of learned that he is like a leader in his community, and he's also involved in creating safe spaces in the same way that I am as well in New York. And I think that's an ideal for me, because I need someone that kind of knows where I'm at, that can kind of meet me where I'm at. So that there's a lot of things that we can relate on, or we don't even have to explain sometimes. I need someone that can kind of carry me, or yeah, just kind of knows what I'm going through. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of always felt like I've been in the role to support people as a caregiver my whole life. But I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I really need that reciprocated. I really don't want to be the one to feel like I'm your mentor. I'm like the one always picking you up. I need to feel like we're both grounded individually, and because of that, we can show up really well for each other.
Yeah, care for each other.
Yeah.
Is the Taurus energy caretaker?
Yeah.
Right, that too, right?
And the Pisces.
And Pisces.
Pisces for sure.
Pisces is the sensitive, like caring.
Yeah, I'm in that era now where I want to be cared for.
Yeah. Are you single right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, because I'm an elder daughter, so I also take care of my parents, and I feel like I've always girl bossed my way through life, and now I'm like tired. I want somebody to take care of me.
Totally.
You know, and just like you naming that, like made me feel like that's also what I want to.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody who's caring and thoughtful and asks permissions and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I realized I need someone who's really that really can meet me where I'm at, honestly. I've actually have a history of like dating younger people, and now I'm like, I need to date someone older or my age, you know?
Sugar daddy?
No sugar daddy. No.
That's what
Definitely
you want, Laura.
Honestly, I'm very like, to me that's work.
Well, I want a sugar husband
Yeah,
and
for
a
sure.
sugar boyfriend.
Like completely be taken care of. Yeah.
I want both.
Yeah, period. Oh, you want both? Period. You deserve that, boo. You deserve that. You know, maybe I do want that, actually. That wouldn't be so bad. Yeah. Provide for me.
Listen, this is a liberation-based podcast.
Right.
Literally,
It's all the ways.
It's like, why are we just pigeonholing ourselves to this like traditional style of relationship? Like, if I was to really manifest, I would be in a long-term partnership until it didn't work out anymore. And but then also have like my sexy time.
Period.
With like somebody who takes me out on yachts and stuff.
Love. Okay, does that mean that are you open? Are you poly? Are you like a main partner and you want to be able to like see other people too, kind of thing?
I don't know. I'm just like really open. I don't know if I'm so like poly is when you have we talked about this with our friend Joel because he's poly. I don't know. I might be that. I'm not really sure because like I've never really had I've always just been in one relationship, like a monogamous situation. I don't know what that would look like to have multiple at the same time, but I'm open. We'll see.
Yeah. I think the past year was the first time I got to really enact being poly because I've always been open to it, but similarly, I never had the opportunity to. But the past year, I've kind of, ever since 29, I'd say, I've kind of been in my lover's era where I like to explore connections with people. And if we really get on, I consider us lovers, and that's not exactly partnership.
Right.
I think partnership might be the next level to that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if there's a connection, if there's love here, why not continue to explore that? Without the expectation of like completing each other.
Or like
being
a
the one.
contract or anything.
I don't need that. I just need us to care for each other and just see where that leads us. I don't need the label. I think the baseline of figuring out like how we get to show up for one another is important.
Because oftentimes the labels bypass the actual care.
Yes.
Because you get so fixated on like the path to like marriage, 2.5 kids, and you know all of those things where capitalism basically sells to us as like the goal.
Yeah.
And then everything that actually is underneath that gets missed, and that's why more than 50% of marriages end in divorce. People still feel lonely even though they're in these partnerships. All this stuff, and what I hear you say that you're after is actually the meaningful connections that are beneath, that are within.
Yeah, because to me, like, before that, you have to be friends. And a lot of people just aren't even friends first. Yeah. So to me, like, for me, my role is to be in a partnership with someone, I have to know them for at least 1 year first, right? But in that 1 year of getting to know them, we have to, be friends first. We have to figure out like what our dynamic is as friends. Then maybe that can turn into love. Yeah. And if that love is really real, I think 1 year is a minimum that I need to know if I really know who this person is.
Yeah, because otherwise you just show people the what do they call it? Like the shiny, you just show the shiny version of yourself, not like the real version, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Even if you think, I'm going to show the real version, like it's not really that easy because you're not ready to be vulnerable yet, right?
Or you haven't been in enough situations where you could see other parts of them.
Right, you're like, I didn't know you're like this.
No, exactly. No, I've been in enough of that where I'm like, I'm leaving, I'm done.
That's my line.
Yeah, no, really. So that's why I'm like, I need to at least give it a year now because I historically have fallen in very quickly, you know. So I'm like, girl, like you better have better boundaries. You're 31 now, like. Right?
Yes. Well, you're a Pisces. You're a romantic.
I am a romantic.
I feel like I'm way more realistic about things. I think too much so. Yeah.
How do you explore romance for yourself then? Or?
I mean, first of all, I haven't been attracted to somebody in a really fucking long time.
Do you think your standards are high?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I deserve high things.
I agree.
And for me, it's head, heart, and crotch. Like, I have to be attracted to you intellectually and also like emotionally, but also sexually. And
this is what Luigi checked the boxes.
Head,
Luigi Mangione.
I'm weird. Because
come on.
I didn't see the what is it? The nudes that came out? I don't need to, babes. I don't need to.
I have my imagination.
Yeah. I don't need to see because I already know it's going to be good.
You're like, I've seen his ankles. I'm good.
That's enough. That's the female gaze. No, my sister and I were talking about this all yesterday because I was telling her that you were coming on our podcast. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I think if I really find somebody funny and they're nice, then their looks can grow on me. And I was like, that doesn't work.
Oh, really? I realized it does have to be a full package thing.
Yeah,
I used to be very like bright-eyed. I'm like,
yeah.
Energy, connection only. I can fall in love with anyone if they're the right like vibe. No, it has to be full package.
I have to be honest with myself,
yeah.
And it's always been that way. So
good. I'm glad you knew that from get.
So not that easy to find the person or persons that will check all head, heart, crotch boxes.
No, but I feel like I'm okay with that.
Right.
Like I have very high standards for my life in general with friends and people I surround myself with, the spaces I go into, what I do with my time. So it wouldn't be that off if I applied that to my love life.
Well, it'd be kind of crazy to not apply it to your love life. Right? Yeah, because that's like the most intimate part.
Yes. And I find I'm attracted to a lot of things that are outside of just relationships. Like platonic relationships, I find so much fulfillment over. Yeah. And that's also why I think our society prioritizing romantic relationships I just never understood that because I find love and intimacy in so many different situations. Yeah. That I don't feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Which is why you're a danger to the system.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that too. There was actually a long period where I specifically wasn't dating. From 21 up to 27, I was like, I don't want romance in my life. I think that just kind of... I think for so long I wanted romance, like as a kid, and like being a gay boy where there's no gay kids in my class, and I just really wanted someone to complete me. But after enough like bad, traumatic experiences, I was like, no more romance. I'm only here to play. I'm only here to like have to fuck around honestly and enjoy my life. But I think by 27, I was like, no, I think I'm ready to have romance. Like I put myself aside from that for so long. I think I should be real and know that is ultimately what I want. Not ultimately, but that is what I want.
Do you believe in soulmates? Multiple soulmates?
Honestly, I'm not really sure because I don't think I've really met a soulmate. Like I have friends where I'm like, oh, we've been in each other's lifetimes many times, but I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't know if soulmate isn't the word that clicks for me. I guess. I don't think I've experienced that, but I've definitely experienced people where I'm like, oh, like we're bonded for sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, we've done this before.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like we agreed to meet back on this timeline.
Yes. Maybe you just haven't met the person yet.
I think I haven't met anyone where it's defined that for me. I'm always open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do the rapid fire?
Rapid fire questions.
Oh my God, okay.
Okay. Well, you've already shared your big three.
Okay.
You've shared some red flags already too, which was one of our questions.
Yeah. If there wasn't such thing as capitalism, what would you be doing? Would you still be having sex?
Avi, but I think in like tropical settings. Ooh. And I think just spending my days with people I love, truly. I think that's just my baseline of like what makes me feel nourished. Yeah, just like this, like just like getting to spend time with people that nourish me, new people that have been in my life for a while. I think I'm realizing time is just so precious.
So precious.
I'm
yeah.
really someone that would rather be with other people. I love my alone time, but I'm someone that would rather be with other people as much as I can. So I think that's what I would be doing.
Mm-hmm. And talking about fun stuff like this.
Yeah.
The so-called taboos.
I know.
Making it not taboo. What do you think makes a New Yorker?
Kind of feel like minimum 10 years, maybe.
It's so interesting. Everyone's got
Where were
the time.
you born?
Yeah. Oh my God, I don't want to say this out loud.
Okay,
Turn off the camera.
Not a New Yorker. Not a New Yorker.
Okay, I was born in New Jersey. But I moved to New York immediately after I was born.
I was like, I thought you were going to say like Long Island or something. That's like worse.
I know. That's why I said I didn't want to share it. Oh my God. No, I didn't live there though. I literally was like shot across New Jersey into New York right after I was born. So I was born there, was never lived there ever.
Why were you born there?
Good question.
Good hospital?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like what hospital?
I think my parents were living there.
There are a lot of Koreans living in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They still are a lot of
I
Koreans
know,
living in New
but
Jersey.
like
I think before my parents really settled down in New York, they were figuring out where to live because they immigrated and they were kind of, my mom's sisters had come to America already. So I think they were kind of visiting different sisters to figure out where to settle down.
I love how you were embarrassed.
I thought you were going to say, like, I was like, where could it be so bad?
Long Island.
It's not bad. It's just like, I really am like, I'm a New Yorker. But then when I'm like, I was born in Jersey. It just doesn't hit, you know? Like, I want to be like, yeah, like born and bred New Yorker. But then it's like,
right?
kind of not true. But I don't really care because whatever. So now you just blew up my spot.
But you said 10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
what you mean?
10
Yes,
years.
oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've met that. I definitely think also to be a true New Yorker, I think you have to have a diverse friend group. You have to have a diverse people around you to really feel like New York isn't just a place that you live. New York is a community. It's like you have to integrate yourself.
Yeah. You have to become part of the city. It's not just like this is where I live or this is where I work. Like you have to receive and give into the city. I totally feel that.
Yeah. I think that's what makes you a New Yorker as a transplant specifically. As someone that's native, I think it's a different set of rules for sure. But yeah, as a transplant, yeah.
Wow, I think that's the first person that said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important,
I like it.
right? Yeah, to be part of the fabric of New York. Like, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for being so vulnerable,
I know.
even though you're born in New Jersey.
Shut up. Stop. I hate y'all.
I had such a fun time.
Same. Thank you.
Thank
both
you.
for having me.
Thank you. It was such a treat.